Hey there, this is Nathan Mark, and today is Monday, January 27th, 2025. I wanted to get on here and share some updates with you about what I've been seeing in the markets, specifically the futures. But what you're looking at here is the overall market right now. This is the S&P 500 index. It's a stock heat map, and my goodness, does technology look ugly or what? Let's start right here with NVIDIA. Shabam, slam, knocked out, down 16%. Oh my goodness. Wow, 2.91 trillion market cap, down 60, almost basically 17% on the day. Ay, Chihuahua, Mamma Mia, that is wild. So I often look at the heat map here to get a big picture view. What is happening across the stock market? Because if I'm trading futures, well, futures are largely impacted by the broader market. Now, this is the S&P 500, right? So we're not going to see commodities in here. Sometimes I look at gold, sometimes I look at crude oil and things like that. But generally, I trade indexes. It's like 99% NASDAQ, which is all of this area here, right? Tech services and electronic technology, right? So, the big blue chip tech stocks, of course. And I'll trade the ES, which is the S&P 500, and I'll also trade the YM, which is the Dow. But let's go ahead and dive right in. What I like to do here is give my understanding and my perspective on the market, and it's largely in a selfish way. I want to be able to look back on this one day, like I've said in previous videos that I share, and just be able to say, you know what, Nathan, you've come a long way. I want to be able to do that, and it's for reflection purposes. It's for journaling purposes, and it's also because throughout my relatively short career in trading thus far, just like I'm sure a lot of you watching this, you watch other traders, you listen to other traders, and you just take little tiny nuggets and mindset and skills and different perspectives from other people, and that you mold all of that into your own. And then you come out the other side after however long it takes to reach that other side, from being in the red to being break even to being profitable and just being consistent. But you take all these different perspectives from other traders, and you make your own way. You develop your own style. So that's what you land on, your own style. That's what I've landed on. And so I'm going to share my perspective with you. If you take something great from it that's helpful, that's fantastic. If you think I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, that's okay too. That is okay with me. You have your perspective. I have mine. You trade the way you trade. I trade the way I trade. And I want anyone watching this to gain value. If you can pull some value from this, fantastic. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right in. This is the daily chart of the NASDAQ. Look at this frickin' candle right here. From 21,777 all the way down to 20,768. My goodness. My goodness. First of all, we have a gap down, huge gap. And then the range of this is basically 1,000 points, 1,000-point range on the day. What happened? Well, you probably saw it's the TopStepX has this trader hub that I've been checking out, and there's some tidbits and news and things like that in this area, which is pretty cool. It's this whole DeepSeek, this new saga that has begun in China, right? DeepSeek, they developed an AI model for like $6 million relative to OpenAI, which has spent billions and billions and billions of dollars building out their AI models. And supposedly, this DeepSeek company, they have a very strong and competitive, excuse me, AI model relative to OpenAI, and they've done it at a fraction of the cost. So now there's all this, there's a new narrative, right? And then NVIDIA is getting hammered because of it. NVIDIA is absolutely getting hammered because of that. Look at that, down 17%, just keeps going, going, going. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive right in. So yeah, huge down day. NASDAQ is down 686 points currently. ES is down 113 points. Here's the daily chart of the ES, wham, right gap, and then just fell, 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 fell. You know, we have rebounded. I don't know, not quite 50% of the range, but the market's rebounded from the overnight session where they just fell down to into oblivion. And then we have YM currently bouncing back up. This is the daily chart, and YM is almost positive on the day. I'm seeing YM on my Thinkorswim charts as down 35 points. So YM is just hanging in there. YM is hanging in. ES is getting hammered, and so is the Nasdaq. So the question is, what do we do? Like, how do we trade this? Well, if you were trading last night, I can tell you from the gap down, and then, you know, we just kept going, going, going to the downside. If you use something like a moving average to give you a sense of the direction, well, you'd be in pretty good shape if you just went short, right? Now, easier said than done. It's like telling me saying that it's like telling an alcoholic, well, if you know, don't want to be an alcoholic again, then just stop drinking. So the answer to how do we trade this isn't, well, just go short. We can dive in. I can look at this a little bit deeper. Now, this is the overnight session, right? But something like this, when we have a huge gap down, flush, a little pullback, and then a flush again. And then we see this up, down, up, down. Well, you know, chances are the markets want to go lower. And then if you're aware of the narrative, and I don't personally love trading news, but this is a significant drop. I mean, this is like hundreds and hundreds of points on at the open to open the week. So that is significant. Therefore, when you see something like this is a 5-minute time frame, right? When you see something like this, you plant your flag and say, hey, we're probably going to go lower. So when you see a break, like for example, this right here, I'm just digging in and see where we could have taken trades. When you see that, when you see this, we have a push up. When you see this candle close below the 8, this one right here, you can take a short. Stops above the candle. So you go short at 21,539. Put your stop at 21,552. And then you don't take the trade off until there is a close above the 8. Where does that happen? Okay, so if we go short here, okay, can't really see that. Sorry. Anyways, if we go short here, okay, where does price close above the 8 again? Right here. 21. Let's call it. Let's just call it 21,500. Let's call it 21,500 is where you take the trade off. So we get in the trade in this area, 21,539. It's 39 points. Let's call it 40 points. A 40-point trade, if you're trading the full size or the mini contract, it's $800. Okay, that's an $800 trade. That's just one example of a trade that you can take. When you ask yourself the question, how do I trade this? How would I trade it? That's how I would trade it. Look at this, the same thing back here, right? We have a big push up and then wham, we close right below. Well, chances are we're going to keep going lower. So I could take a trade at 21,583 and then I don't get out until this candle, 21,528. That's another really great risk to reward and a winning trade. Now, if you're trading the New York session, which is the open was right here. This is a trade that I took this morning. When you have the rebound, I'll call it, right after this flush. By the way, another really good trade. You see market moving down. We flatline is what I call it. I call this a flat line right here. Price just flat. We can't get above, and then you stay in the trade until we close above the 8, which is right here. Or you see 1, 2, 3 candles, right? Three bar reversal. However you want to frame this out, in whatever language you want to use, whatever your strategy dictates, if it's anywhere near this and you're not trading ICT, it's fine if you are. Totally fine. I don't. I use moving averages and I look at a 5-minute, an hourly, the daily time frames to see where price is going. Anyways, you see this. Here's another trade, a flat line. Market breaks down below. Look at this candle right here. Broke underneath this range, right? Market was in a range right here. This range, ranging. This candle breaks. You go short at 21,173, call it. You don't get out until 29.51. That's another huge trade. Now these are all, this is the overnight session, right? So if you're not trading that, then you're trading the New York session, well, fantastic. So how do you trade it? This is a 5-minute chart again. Here is the opening candle right here, this guy. So you see price really tightens up right here, tightens up and then huge push to the upside. When you see something like this, I really want to use this. I really want to use this. Come on, let's change this up. Background. Okay, nice. All right, when you see a candle like this one, it's a high probability that price is going to continue to the upside. This is the opening candle, 5 minutes, wham, we move what? 21,124 all the way up. We close at 21,236, over 100 points. And well, if we push up 100 points, chances are there's going to be continuation of the upside. So you can wait for a pullback on the next candle, the 835 candle, and then go long. Just an example. Or you can, go long here and wait for this candle to close. This is a strong move to the downside. We don't know if there's going to be continuation here, right? And then when you see, the move down, maybe you go short, you would have gotten stopped out here. But when you see this candle close, this 5-minute candle, we came down and then closed a strong, I'll call it close above the 8. Clearly, the top of this candle closed above this 8-period moving average, the blue line. So wait for a little pullback here and then go long. That's how I trade. Now, this is in real time right here. What could we potentially do here? Well, excuse me. Well, what we should do, if you want to trade in this way, if I wanted to take a trade here, I would be looking for a long, but this candle has to close above the 8-period moving average. If this candle closes above the 8, we go long and we put a stop below this candle at 200. Now, what else am I looking at though? Well, I have other things that I'm looking at. Other things meaning other technicals. Here's my internals grid. So this is the NQ, this is the ES, and this is the YM. This is clearly a nice strong reversal, and we're pushing back up towards the 21 period moving average, which is this green line. Okay. So a few things could happen here. By the way, another way to trade that I have tinkered with is when you get the moving averages crossing each other, that the green is the 21, the blue is the 8 period. If the 8 crosses below the 21, you go short. If it crosses back up, you go long. Super simple, right? But what I'm seeing here is you have your nice flush down. We get right below 21,200 into the 21,180-ish area. And now we're pushing back up. So the question is, does price want to get back to the 21 and then go lower? Or do we want to push back up and try to get back above here, back up to 21,500-ish? I don't know. But looking at the time, it's 10:48 Central Time. If I wanted to take a trade, I would look here. I would look for this candle for a strong, that's my term, a strong close above the 8. Okay, the 8 being the blue. This candle closes above this blue line, then we go long, and we put the stops down here at 21,208. And then I can look here. These are all different moving averages and momentum across different time frames. This is the 5-minute chart. What happened here? Well, this yellow line is VWAP. This blue line is a 5-minute trailing stop. We saw price push up at the open and then push down recently and take out that trailing stop and then reverse back to the upside. To me, that is a strong indication that we're going to continue to the upside. And we did trade above VWAP. Now, are they going to sell VWAP and we push lower? I don't know. Or can we just continue to kind of grind up here? I don't know. One thing to keep in mind, though, is this. Today, the NASDAQ is down 3%. 3% it is down. There are many, 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 many people looking for opportunities to short this thing. Many. Okay? So, let's just say, theoretically, we wanted to enter a trade, and so using my system, I would go long. I'd go long right here. Let's say we went long, my stop is at 21,207, and we go long. Let's just see what happens here. So if I would have gone long, I said there, let's call it 21,240. Let's see what happens. So long at 21,240. Okay, and here's our stop. Now, why would I go long here? Well, we have the big push down, and then we have 1, 2 candles. So this candle closed above this blue line, right? This is called a strong close. I call it a strong close. It clearly closed above this blue line. So there's a high probability that there's going to be further movement to the upside. That's the system. Now, if I'm long here, we're in profit. If I'm long at 21,242, we're at 21,256. I could take it off right there. I could take the trade off now, or I can wait, or I can trail the stop up, or whatever it might be. Right? So there is an opportunity to take this trade off in profit right now. It's that simple. My system is that simple. So that's it. I don't love dealing in, you know, in hypotheticals, you know, but I just want to share an example of what I could have done, or the action that I could have taken there. Again, this is my perspective on the markets. This is my perspective on how price is moving. That is all. Take it for however you want to take it. I'm just sharing how I am looking at this. Now, so this is NQ. One other thing that I find really interesting is if I go to a daily chart, back to the daily, there's a few things here. So, sorry, this is an hourly. Hourly is fine. A few things interesting. So first of all, like this big green line, this was from, you know, the last all-time high that we had up here. And then, price kind of got to the area again, went lower, bounced up, got to the area again. Again, this is the NASDAQ, obviously. Obviously, NASDAQ. Still looking at the NASDAQ. Price got up to this area and dropped lower. And then when we crossed above the trend line, we pulled back in and then we pushed higher. Now we flatlined. But what's interesting to me here is that if we put a Fibonacci level on here, which we did, right? So the fibs from the top here all the way down to where the last pivot was before this happened, but this last pivot. So we put a fib retracement from the high to the low, and this is going back all the way to December 16th or December 15th ish, and then that low was made on January 13th, the 12th or the 13th, right? Well, you put the Fibonacci's on and then look at how price interacts with the fib levels. Let me get rid of this one real quick here. Look at how price is interacting with the fibs, right? We push up. We push up. Look at this. This is the 0.786 Fibonacci. See that? How price comes in and drops. Price comes in and drops. That's interesting. And then what happens? Sorry about all the scrolling and back and forth, but I saw this earlier today and I really wanted to share it. The 0.382 Fibonacci retracement level. What is price doing in this area, the orange line? Well, price drops. Price pushes back up into the area and drops again. Interesting. Interesting. There's that. And then if I go, well, what about the most recent high to low? So there's this. Here's the high, 22,065 if you look all the way to the right of the screen, the blue rectangle, 22,065.75. We pull down the fib to here. Not like the low, right? All the way to the wick, but like more recently I've been toying with putting the fibs closer to where the body of the candles, the close or the open of a candle, not like the wicks. So put the fib down to where the bodies, this body closed, this candle opened. Now look, this 0.382 retracement lines up pretty damn close to that higher time frame 0.382 retracement. Look at this. So orange line here, orange line here. Interesting. That's all it is. It's interesting, okay? I'm not saying that this is perfect technical analysis and this dictates price perfectly or highly accurately. It's just interesting to me. It's just interesting. And then what happened? Price is rejecting off this level. Long story short, Fibonacci's work sometimes. Not every time, nothing works every time, but sometimes they work, especially on when you look at higher time frames, longer periods of time, because that's what professionals do. That's what professionals do. They're looking at the longer time periods, and they're using tools like Fibonacci levels. They're using tools to help guide them as to where price could potentially reverse or could potentially break through and continue, et cetera, et cetera. So that's all. So these areas lined up, and I went short here earlier today. Had a nice winning trade. Had a nice winning trade. So that's what's going on. All right, NASDAQ is down over 3% today. I mean, that is incredible. What a day. So we got all this news, AI out of China. By the way, Trump is really messing with tariffs now. I think it's, he's trying to put a tariff in place. I don't know if it's official yet, but with countries in South America now, very high tariffs, like 25% or something crazy. Also messing around with the marketplace. So long story short, highly volatile marketplace today. And I'll leave you with this. NASDAQ is down almost 700 points. The ES is down 113 and the YM is down 9. Actually, I'll leave you with this. More economic news coming out later this week. We have new home sales today. That's fine. More than expected. That's great. But then we get into this news here, right? We get into consumer confidence. We get into the FOMC rate decision on Wednesday. Oh boy, first GDP reading of the year on Thursday. So these markets are going to stay volatile. And by the way, Friday's the last day of the month. Whew. Be careful out there. Be careful out there. All right, so that's all. That's what I see. And hopefully this video was helpful. If you have any feedback, let me know. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever it might be. I really, really want to continue connecting with traders. So there's a link in my bio. You can schedule a call with me just to literally jump on a call and just connect, have a conversation. I would love to do that. And if you need help, wherever you're at on your journey, if you just want to chat and meet a fellow trader, let's get on a call. You can schedule that with me through the link in my bio. I'm really trying to do more this year also, just kind of putting my thoughts out there, and hopefully it helps someone. Hopefully it helps someone. So I'm writing more. I'm putting more videos on YouTube. I'm going to start recording the podcast again and things like that. And I would love to hear from you. So reach out, and I hope you had a great day today trading, and the rest of the week. I do hope you trade well. I'm going to do my best to trade well, of course. But let's connect. Let's connect further. I really appreciate you watching and hope you have a great rest of your day.